Welcome back to the channel, guys. This video will be an in-depth review of the UFcut combat set, including the pant and the shirt. This set comes at a pretty steep cost, so the question is it really worth it? This is a general overview of the pants. They're very well built, they're very comfortable to wear. Running, squatting, laying down, it's quite nice, and the fabric feels good in your body. Overall, these pants are very high quality. There is a good design thought behind it. The pocket placement is almost ideal in my opinion. The knee pads are far superior than the Cry Precision knee pads, and the adjustments are well built. Not having behind the knee Velcro adjustment is a huge plus for me because that always became a pinch point for my legs when squatting. I do think they are quite expensive, but I do think this piece is probably worth the money. They will last you a long time if that's something you're looking to buy. So the UFpro pants differ from the Cry cut in a lot of different ways actually. In my opinion, I do prefer this cut, and we'll talk about what I like and don't like. At the top of the waistband, we'll see this integrated belt, which in my opinion is a huge plus. This belt is very comfortable. The way it is adjusted is very simple, but also the way it feels in your body is very low profile. So for example, when you bend over, you're not gonna feel a belt buckle like kind of squeezing your belly or anything like that. So I really like this feature. It is connected here on the sides, as you can see. And the way you adjust it is quite simple. You can just feed the loop into the plastic here, and then they place the hook on top of the webbing, so it's actually kind of goes right like that, and then you can button this over. So ideally, if you need to put another belt on top for your combat belt or whatever, you can still do it with the belt loops here. So this belt system is quite nice. It's very comfortable in my opinion. There's a lot going on here. A lot of these pouches I don't particularly use too much, but there is a big zipper pouch over here for bigger things. And then there is some more divided pouches all over the pants. You're gonna have this section here, which expands. And then the zipper here acts as a ventilation point. This is a feature that a lot of UFpro pants do, which is imperative in my opinion. Having mechanical ventilation from your body is very, very beneficial when you're sweating, and it lets that moisture and heat escape from your body. Very smart design choice. Quite Precision cut pants don't do that. Towards the bottom, there is a smaller pouch. And then UFpro has these Velcro attachments that you can use, I believe, to take things in and out quicker. I removed them in the front, but I left them in the back. And they can also be used to, I guess, act as a flap if you want. So you can play with these. I don't particularly have too much of a use for it, but they're there. Opening the side pouch on the top gives you an access point to where you do your adjustment for your knee height, which is done by an elastic pull and this multi-position button. This is quite nice, it's convenient, it's out of the way. I want to move to the back of the pant because it doesn't look like much on camera, but as you can see, this whole section here is a different type of fabric. This material is very stretchy, it's very, very comfortable. So when you squat and your big peach is poking out, it makes it very, very comfortable to wear. And this extends at the bottom of the crotch, so when you're squatting or your legs are more spread, it's a very pleasure feeling, I guess. That's sounding kind of sexual, but yeah, it's very comfortable to run and move around in this. And this material is elastic, but it's also quite durable, so you kind of get the best of both worlds. As you can if you can imagine, the Cry Precision pants have that elastic band right on this section and also on top of your knees. It's kind of a similar concept, but this extends all the way. So of course, the knee pad is something that is visually distinctive in this type of pants. You can choose to run individual like knee paddings underneath it or leave it without. At the moment, I don't have any padding, but even this material alone has kind of some built-in thickness and absorption. So you don't necessarily need that extra padding unless you really do. Some of that elastic material comes back right on top of the knee. This zipper acts for a space to put your padding in here. And if not, it can be used also as ventilation because this fabric is breathable. One bottom calf pouch with a zipper. Looking at the very end of the pant, we can see a couple more features. The tightness of your ankle is done again in a similar fashion with the button and the elastic. which I do like. It's out of the way. And then you also have a zipper for expansion if, for example, these pants need to go over some larger boots. One more thing, it's a small detail, but it's nice. You do have this to hook the pants to the boot itself if you don't want it coming up. I've used this in the past before. Looking at the pants right here, again, want to give you an opinion on how I fit. Here's my ass, it's very nice. Of course, really good range of motion. The waist, like I said, it is very comfortable. The pockets, all comfortable, good access, no complaints. The adjustments, you can really tailor these pants to your body type. This uniform is very fat phobic, so just be mindful of that. But that's not the uniform's problem, I guess that's your problem. Moving on to the combat shirt, I would say this piece is incredibly underrated. It has some very, very useful feature. The most useful feature, in my opinion, is the shoulders. So you won't be able to see it at the moment, but the shoulders have some padding that sits in here that makes wearing a plate carrier a lot more comfortable because it adds a lot more absorption on your shoulder. It is a very interesting construction. It's almost like a lattice construction. And then when you squish it, it has some, I don't want to call it spring back, but it has some resistance. It will come back to shape, so it will absorb some of that weight you put on it. These things are really comfortable. They actually do make a big difference. When we look at the connection between the torso, the armpit, and pretty much the entirety of the arm, it is covered by this mesh breathable fabric, which is very important underneath your armpits. While this fabric is breathable and a little see-through, it is quite robust as well. So it's very nice to get the ventilation in your arm. Then you have a Velcro panel where it's big enough to put either two regular 3x5 patches, like flag type patches, or one bigger emblem or unit patch. And then on the side of the arm, big zipper pocket that pretty much you can fit, I don't know, whatever you want in there. There is a elbow padding insert if you want to put elbow padding. It'll fit right here, opens with Velcro, and then your cuff is adjusted by Velcro. Nothing special there. The material itself, the majority of the shirt is built, is elastic type of material. It's quite comfortable. And then another unique feature to the shirt is that, as you can see at the bottom, this material here is padded too on your hips. The other thing that it won't be visible at the moment by just me holding it, this wraps around your body really well. Funny enough, we were chatting in a Discord about combat clothing, and some guy made a joke saying, I can't buy combat shirt because my belly will stick out. Well, this shirt will actually fat shame you. If you're kind of fat, it will show. This thing fucking vacuum seals to your body, and I'll show you later what I mean by that. I personally like it because it really kind of conforms to your lower body and it stays inside the pants really nicely. So I don't know, I like it, but that's something to consider. As I was trying to show you, this shirt is really tight around my, I guess, belly area, but not uncomfortably. Like, as you can see, I can still have material, just the way it conforms to your waistline. And then my arm, you know, I have plenty of room here. I don't feel constrained. So the fit is very nice. So as you see, I have plenty of range of motion. So this is what I was talking about. As you can see, the padding here and how it conforms to your waistline. Quite nice in my opinion. Some people might dislike that. And then for the belt, just go around the loop, tighten it, and then clip this back in. So to come to a conclusion, is this set worth the money that it demands? So I'll be honest, the price is very steep. You're gonna end up paying over $300 for the pants, around $330, and then the shirt itself is about over $200, $220, $230. It's a lot of money for combat clothing. I would say, especially if you're not a professional, if you're somebody like me that does it for fun, it's a steep ask. On the other side, if you are somebody like me that does it for fun and you do milsim events and things like that, those can still be quite demanding. So if you want one uniform you can rely on and you want to spend the money, I mean, I think the quality is there. I will say, for the money you pay, you do get really good features. There's another side of that story. I don't know all the sources and how all those line up, but I think UFpro moved some of their production to Asia. So that's not inherently bad. I will say I am a fan of Asian textile manufacturing. They're really good at it. There's nothing wrong with it. A lot of companies do it. The problem is you move a lot of your manufacturing to Asia, saying you need to meet your demand, which is fair. At the same time, does your price reflect that? Because this is me speculating, I don't know the whole story. When you manufacture something in Asia, it's gonna cost less just purely based on labor cost. So now does your customer just help you get more margin out of your products, or do you help your customer save some money? Now, I don't know the whole story, I'm just telling you my opinion, but it's something that I think some people would like to be aware of, especially in a very high-end piece of uniform like this. Forgetting that, it's a great uniform, it's super comfortable, the features are awesome. So if that's something you want, I highly suggest it. But again, I want to provide the whole story because I think transparency is important. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this useful to you, and if not, interesting, and I'll see you in the next one.